Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Conrad Hotel in Tokyo on my recent stay in April 2025. I'm going to be reviewing the room and amenities, the breakfast, and the overall vibe of the hotel. The Conrad Tokyo, which opened in 2005, is located in the Shiodome district of Tokyo, overlooking Tokyo Bay, and occupies floors 28 through 37 of the Shiodome Shio site building. The ground floor entrance is decorated with this lovely tree display. The first thing you have to do is catch a short elevator ride direct to the 28th floor, where the check-in lobby is located. The check-in lobby features very high ceilings and is beautifully appointed. I was given my room key in about 5 to 10 minutes. My room today is located on the 30th story, room 3036, which required another short elevator ride to go up to my room floor. My room was quite far down the corridor, but I don't mind the walk. Let's check it out. My room today, as at the Ritz-Carlton Tokyo, is a twin room. Not because I'm staying with somebody, I was staying alone, but because it was the only room they had left available. Occupancy was extremely high during my stay, being just after the peak sakura season, and I think technically still within it, although towards the tail end. As you can see, the finishings of a room were of a high quality, and I've got to say, this just might be the most perfectly ironed bed I've ever seen. My god, can you see a single crease in it? I don't know how they made this bed so perfectly. It's quite impressive. Featured at the side of each bed is a Japanese power socket and a USB-A style charger. I'm not actually complaining about the Japanese power socket because, well, we are in Japan, although it would have been nice to have had a universal power adapter. Not a problem though, I bought my own adapter with me. Not my first time traveling. As you can see here, this is mirrored on the other side of the bed, as well as having an alarm clock and a telephone, and various buttons to control things like the shades, the lighting, and the do not disturb sign. On each bed was placed 2 pillows, which were very soft and comfortable. Despite my Hilton Honors Gold status, which I admit isn't that high, I didn't receive any sort of upgrade and got the standard city view room. I was hoping to get a Tokyo Bay view room, but alas, I did not. This was an okay view though, and you can technically see the Tokyo Tower in the distance. Just about. If you're looking for places to sit in the room, they had a sort of window-based lounging chair, as well as a work desk to do your work on, and I've got to say, one of the most comfortable hotel chairs I've had in a while. Normally hotel desk chairs are the cheapest thing in the room and they don't give them much attention, but this one was really good. A short notice about no smoking and no vaping, a telephone and a writing pad were also provided. For in-room coffee, they provided an espresso machine, which seemed really large, but was just a standard machine. They also provided 2 bottles of own brand Conrad mineral water, as well as a Japanese tea set with an iron Japanese teapot. To use with an espresso machine, they provided 6 pods, 4 of which were caffeinated. I think the hotel missed an opportunity here. Nespresso makes a specific origins pod for Tokyo, and the Ritz-Carlton provided this. Not the end of the world, but it would have been nice to see here. The cups were by brand Canizon, which I'll be honest, I hadn't heard of before, but they were very high quality. Hidden away in this box, in addition to a magazine and a breakfast menu, was the own branded stationery, including envelopes, postcards, and letter-headed paper. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, please subscribe. Under the coffee area is the minibar. This was filled with various drinks, including Japanese brands like green tea and Pocari Sweat. They also had 2 cold spirit bottles and some Costa coffee and Kit Kat. This was extended further to the right with a selection of snacks and wider spirits. There's a bottle of red wine on the left, as well as some glasses to pour it in. And in this box is an impressive spirit collection, including Scotch whiskies and Japanese Yamazaki whiskey. Do note, they're not free. You have to pay for them, and you have to pay dearly. The tea was provided by the company TWG, which is a high-quality brand you often see in high-end hotels. To the left of the tea and coffee area is a stool to put your suitcase on for easy access, as well as the air conditioning controls, which were intuitive and were set to a comfortable 22 when I entered the room. In the first cupboard was the usual things you would expect to see, an ironing board and iron, as well as several hangers to fold your clothes onto. The other cupboard featured an in-room safe to store your valuables, as well as things such as a shoehorn and an umbrella and some slippers. I always find it nice when high-end hotels include an umbrella in the room. It's one of those things you never think to take with you on a journey, but when you need it, you really need it. The bathroom was nicely appointed, although it didn't exactly give off a luxurious feel. The toilet was a Japanese-style self-cleaning toilet. I'm not surprised to see this, given it's Japan, but I'm pleased. I did notice above the toilet was a leather box. I'll be honest, I've never seen the amenities placed in such a box, but it was a nice touch. The room contained both a tub for soaking and a shower. The shower was a huge size and featured both a rain shower and a detachable shower head, which I always like to see. The toiletries were provided in pump bottles and were by the brand Mojave Ghost. This is not a brand I've ever seen outside of Conrad's, but it seems to commonly feature in them. One thing that deserves a special mention is this robe. You can see how long I'm feeling it for here. It was unbelievably soft. Seriously, I wasn't doing this for the video. It was amazing. Probably the best robe I've ever had in a hotel. I was pleased to see as well that the usual Conrad duck was provided. Just so that you know, these are free to take away, if that's your thing. An extensive selection of toiletries was provided, including the usual suspects of toothbrush, mouthwash, shavers, a loofah, and one thing I was particularly impressed to see, wooden toothpicks. Toothpicks are the one thing I always forget to take with me when I go on holiday, so it was great to see them here. I also liked how the amenities were provided in these leather boxes. Very tasteful. The bathroom also contained his and hers sinks, as well as this giant circular mirror. Don't get me wrong, this was a very nice bathroom. The only reason I say it wasn't screaming high-end is because of the price. I'll tell you how much this hotel cost me at the end of the video. Overall, the room was well appointed and a decent size, particularly for Tokyo, where rooms tend to be on the smaller size, so I really appreciated it not feeling cramped, like it does in a lot of other Tokyo hotels. Anyway, enough about the room. Let's check out breakfast. Breakfast was served in the hotel restaurant Cerise on the 28th floor, and features high floor-to-ceiling windows and great amounts of natural light. Breakfast is free for Hilton Honors Gold members and above, but if you want to pay, it's 6,500 yen, or about $45 US. There's an extensive a la carte menu, although I should note you're only allowed to pick one item. I started with an iced Americano, a chia seed pudding, and some traditional Western options. I've got to say, the bacon here was probably the nicest bacon I've ever had. Trust the Japanese to take a Western classic and improve on it. The juice was freshly squeezed apple juice, which has a pale colour because it hasn't oxidized yet. In addition to the a la carte items, you also had a buffet, which included a pastry station, a salad bar, including a wide variety of salads, some fruits, including strawberries, as well as various other small things like cold cuts or puddings and cheeses. If you fancy Western food, they had a selection including quiche, potatoes, vegetables, sausages, and that bacon, which, let me repeat, the nicest bacon I've ever had. They had a section serving more Japanese items like miso soup and salmon. They also served various Japanese condiments like seaweed, and also had a section including items like tamago, or egg. You could also choose an onsen egg, or various things like tuna. For my a la carte item, I chose the lobster omelette. As the name suggests, this is an omelette made with lobster meat, and contains a whole lobster claw on top. It's covered in a sort of bisque sauce. This was extremely tasty. The lobster was fresh, and the bisque sauce was not overpowering or too fishy. After this, I decided to try one of the yogurts made with organic Hokkaido milk, and tried several of the side dishes, including the tuna, the salmon, and the egg tamago. Another thing that I loved of this buffet is they had small packets of seaweed on the side. I'm not sure what it says. If there are any Japanese speakers in the comments, please let me know. For my final course, I went for a cheese bagel filled with some of that delicious bacon, and also some peanut butter and Nutella, as well as several sliced fruits. The bun is a sort of sugared cream bun. Nothing to write home about. Okay, so the ultimate question here. Is this hotel worth it, and would I stay again? As with my review of a Ritz-Carlton in Tokyo, the answer to this is a heavy "it depends." As nice as this hotel was, and don't get me wrong, it was very nice, the cash rates for the room during my stay were $1,200 for an entry-level room. Before you ask, I did not mispronounce. $1,200. Now, I didn't pay that. I used my Hilton Honors points to book this, and it cost me 100,000 points, which is a lot, but not crazy. You can often pay 80 to 90,000 for a hotel that's nowhere near as nice as this. On top of that, I had the breakfast included because of my Hilton Honors Gold status, and if I'd have been staying with somebody else, it would have been included for them as well, so that's a $45 to $90 value on top for free. The problem that I have with high-end hotels in Tokyo is that Tokyo is not the sort of city where you want to spend any appreciable time in the hotel. Tokyo is one of the largest, most densely populated and bustling cities in the world, so every time I'm there, I'm either working or I'm out exploring the city. I don't want to spend all day in the hotel. Now, I was staying in the third week of April, which I admit is one of the busiest periods for Tokyo, as it's just at the tail end of their Sakura season, so this was about as expensive as the hotel is ever going to get. Cash rates will be lower at other times of the year. That said, I did see some very nice looking Airbnbs in Tokyo for about $150 to $200 during this time. So the question has to be asked, what would I prefer? An entire week in Tokyo or one night here? And I think this answers my question. For cash, this hotel's not worth it. It looks like a perfectly nice hotel, but honestly, this sort of hotel would only cost about $100 to $150 in another Asian country. It's only because it's Tokyo that it's so expensive. I simply could not justify $1,200 plus $45 to $90 for breakfast at this hotel. That said, 100,000 Hilton Honors points and free breakfast? Absolutely. I was only in Tokyo for 2 nights, and I wanted to have a nice place to stay. Plus, I'd been meaning to check out this hotel for a while, so I was really glad that I stayed. This was an excellent hotel. Not $1,200 excellent, but certainly half that. I would stay again if I saw points availability.